Some games are so iconic that it only takes a few bars of music or a simple screenshot to give them away. And Metroid is one of those games. Personally, I have a lot of fond memories of Metroid. So I thought with the recent release of Metroid Dread, it'd be fun to take a look back at the series and see just how far we've come. This is my Metroid retrospective.
Come get some.
Metroid is a legendary action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo. It's the first installment in the Metroid series, and it was originally released in Japan for the Family Computer Disk System, also known as the Famicom Disk System, in August 1986. Metroid released in North America in August 1987 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This game, and others in the series, pioneered the Metroidvania genre, focusing on exploration and searching for power-ups to reach areas you couldn't previously access. Metroid had different endings for faster completion times, and this made it a popular title for early speedrunners. Metroid is also lauded as being one of the first video games to showcase a female protagonist. Metroid was both a critical and commercial success. It was known for its graphics, great soundtrack, and tight controls. And Nintendo Power ranked it 11th on their list of the best games for a Nintendo console. Metroid will always be a very important part of gaming history, and helped shape many, many games to come. Metroid 2: Return of Samus was the first Metroid game for a handheld console. It was released in North America in November 1991, and in Japan and Europe in 1992. The game once again follows Samus Aran, and this time her mission is to eradicate the Metroids from their home planet, SR-388, before the space pirates can obtain them. Like the original Metroid, Metroid 2 was developed by Nintendo Research and Development 1. This game introduced several features that became staples of the Metroid series, including Samus's round-shouldered Varia suit, her space jump, Spazer Beam, and Spider Ball. The game featured a few enhancements from the first one, that included easier controls that allowed Samus to crouch while firing at the same time, and jump while shooting straight down to attack things below her. Funny enough, the Game Boy's simple black and white graphics actually resulted in changes to Samus's appearance that eventually became permanent in Metroid canon. In the original Metroid, color was used to differentiate between Samus's power suit and her Varia suit, which was an upgraded version. However, without color on the Game Boy, the two suits would have appeared the same. So instead, developers created a visual indicator so players could know which suit Samus was wearing. While admittedly I've never played through the entire game, I am impressed with the way Metroid 2 looks, considering it was a Game Boy game. It certainly looks and plays a lot better than several other games at the time. Super Metroid is the third game in the Metroid series, and once again takes place on the planet Zebes from the original game. This time, Samus is searching for a Metroid that has been stolen by Ridley, the leader of the space pirates. Like the previous games in the Metroid series, Super Metroid focused on exploration, with the player searching for power-ups used to reach previously inaccessible areas.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
But it also introduced new concepts to the series, such as an inventory screen, an automap, and the ability to fire in all directions. Another big improvement Super Metroid made was the addition of save stations scattered around the planet. Compared to the password feature of the first game, this improvement was a revelation for the series. Also, like the original, Super Metroid had 3 endings based on the time taken to complete the game. The best ending is achieved when the game is completed under 3 hours. The game was released by Nintendo in Japan on March 19, 1994, and in North America on April 18th of that same year. Super Metroid is a fabulous game and was met with a lot of critical acclaim. One of my favorite gaming mags from back in the day, Electronic Gaming Monthly, or EGM, gave Super Metroid their Game of the Month award, and compared it favorably to the original Metroid, applauding the graphics, the many weapons and items available, and of course, its excellent soundtrack. But not all gaming mags were as kind. GamePro criticized that the controls were often awkward or difficult, and many of the power-ups were either lifted from other Super NES games or simply upgrades of other power-ups in the game. But of course, that's GamePro, so take it as you will. Super Metroid sold very well in North America, topping the Super NES sales charts in May 1994. And a year after its release, Nintendo placed it on their Player's Choice marketing label. By late 2003, the game had shipped 1.42 million copies worldwide. Super Metroid is often regarded as one of the best video games of all time, and I have to agree. It's certainly one of my favorites. In 2002, Nintendo released Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance, the 4th game in the Metroid series. Once again, it was developed by Nintendo Research and Development 1, who had developed the previous games in the series. In the game, Samus has to explore the surface of planet SR-388, along with a survey crew from Biologic Space Laboratories, or BSL. While there, she's attacked by parasitic organisms known only as X. And on the way back to the BSL station, Samus loses consciousness and her ship crashes. She is transferred to the Galactic Federation for medical treatment, but they discover that the X has infected Samus's central nervous system. They end up developing a cure with a vaccine made from cells taken from the baby Metroid that Samus had adopted on planet SR-388. This vaccine not only heals Samus, but gives her the ability to absorb the X for nourishment. But this burdens her with the Metroid's vulnerability to cold. Samus's infected power suit is sent to the BSL station for examination, although parts of the suit are too heavily integrated with her body now to remove during surgery. When Samus does recover, she discovers that there's been an explosion in the BSL station, as she is sent to investigate. Like previous games in the Metroid series, Metroid Fusion is set in large open-ended areas with elevators that connect different regions, and you open up new areas by gaining certain abilities. What's new to this series, though, is a much more linear focus based on storytelling. For instance, Samus will enter navigation rooms, which sometimes lock and she needs to interact with the computer, which tells her where to go, but kind of forces her to advance the story before she can continue. With her newfound abilities to absorb X-parasites, she's able to restore health, missiles, and bombs, and getting power-ups is either done by going to data rooms and downloading the information, or defeating an enemy and absorbing a Core X. And while it may seem like a small thing, also new to the series is Samus's ability to grab ledges and climb ladders, which greatly increases her mobility and the game's playability. The game was written and directed by series designer Yoshio Sakamoto. According to Sakamoto, they wanted to create an original story instead of simply remaking a Metroid game. He said, "We always try to do something really unprecedented, something people have never played before. Many of our designers and creators want to challenge something new rather than simply porting over an old title. That's something I hope we'll always do. If you can challenge something new, you can look forward to the public response, be it good or bad." Personally, I always loved Metroid Fusion. I thought it was a simply amazing game and a perfect follow-up to Super Metroid. I also thought it was a courageous decision to have Samus affected with the X the way that she was. Metroid Fusion is one of my all-time favorite games, and for anyone that hasn't gotten a chance to play it so far, I suggest you try to. It is truly excellent. And last, but certainly not least, is Metroid Dread for the Nintendo Switch. Metroid Dread was released on October 8th, 2021, and is a direct sequel to Metroid Fusion. Longtime Metroid producer Yoshio Sakamoto first conceived Dread for the Nintendo DS in the mid-2000s, but development ended due to technical limitations. Metroid Dread contains all of the side-scrolling gameplay of the previous Metroid games, but it adds in the free aiming and melee attacks that were added in Samus Returns in 2017. In addition to retaining the core gameplay elements from previous Metroid games, Dread adds new stealth elements. There are special new Emmy zones that Samus has to use stealth to navigate and avoid the robots chasing her. While it's technically possible to escape the robot's grasp, basically it's game over if you get caught. While that may sound arduous, it's a nice change of pace and helps keep the gameplay fresh. And it is damn satisfying when you finally kill one of those robots. Metroid Dread is easily one of my favorite games from last year, and if you haven't gotten a chance to play it, I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching my Metroid retrospective. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed this trip down memory lane. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. This is Gamatroid saying thanks, and I'll see you all next time.